I'm Janelle Sultan-Holtmeyer, Associate Editor of Modern Distribution Management, and I'm talking with Mitch Bouchard, Secretary and Treasurer for General Bearing Service, based in Ottawa, Ontario, and the 2012 President of the Power Transmission Distributors Association.
Hi, Mitch. How are you today?
I'm well, Janelle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. In general, how has business been at GBS?
Business at GBS has been good. It hasn't been as rough as some of our friends in the U.S. Our banks have been strong, so our economy has been strong. We didn't take the double-digit dips that a lot of people did. We took a small hit, but we're still bobbing along. We're working hard and serving customers.
Being a Canadian distributor, as you mentioned, you have a different perspective on the economic troubles that the U.S. has been facing. How has that impacted business?
Well, the Canadian dollar strengthened significantly against the U.S. dollar, as most currencies did, I'm sure. So maybe this is more of a weakening of the U.S. dollar that benefited us on our purchasing side where we needed to buy from the U.S. But on the other hand, some of our customers who are exporting to the U.S., Canada's largest trading partner, have seen orders decrease because the pricing's too high, and it's severely affected our labor market as well. Speaking in U.S. dollars, because our currency appreciated 25 to 30% over the past 2 years, that means the salaries did as well. And now we're experiencing a lot of lockouts. We're seeing companies going on strike and a lot of plants not working. So that's not great for our industry. But overall, in Canada, things have not been as rough as the U.S. You always have to look for that silver lining and navigate around the difficult things.
Are you expecting some currency corrections to take place in the near future?
I can't see the Canadian dollar staying at par with the U.S. dollar, although I'm not an economist by any means. But it feels like we need to be at least 20% lower than where we are now.
What are you seeing as an outlook for 2012?
I don't think we're going to have a lot of significant changes. I'm predicting that we'll grow small single digits, no leaps and bounds, but it's going to take some work. We're a small regional domestic distributor, so we don't see the macroeconomic impact that I guess some of the bigger distributors might. In our little area, we just have to work harder and serve our customers better than the next guy, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of growth and keep going.
Are there certain areas where you're seeing more strength?
Manufacturing in Canada is kind of going away, so we're switching into HVAC. We're seeing strength in servicing the big buildings in the big city centers, and these buildings are attracting service-based industries and big banks, stuff like that. So really MRO rather than focusing on OEMs and plants.
Are there certain end markets where there just seems to be more opportunity in Canada right now?
Right now, the West seems to be booming. The oil industry is big, and in Quebec, we're starting to see wind energy in installations that are starting to come around. It's kind of an emerging market, this wind energy repair business. It's difficult to figure out who's going to get that business, but we're definitely trying to get in that fight.
As the new president of PTDA this year, what are some of the key issues that you hope to tackle in the next year?
I am excited to bring my spin of the use of technology and the relevance of social media to our industry. I think that everybody struggles with what technologies to use and what's beneficial. And it's scary to think that somebody can be advertising or marketing to our customers without us even knowing by sending them messages on their handheld devices or getting emails through to them. Whereas before, if you couldn't get in the door and make an appointment, then you weren't really strongly able to make a connection. So I think it's important to explore those technologies and to make sure that everybody in our industry is aware at least of what's going on. And for social media, there's a lot of buzz about social media, and I certainly hope that nobody in our industry feels like they're missing the boat. So I want to make sure we explore all those avenues and give people the opportunity to learn about what it is and make educated decisions on whether or not social media can benefit them.
What kind of trends are really driving the industry right now?
Consolidation is definitely still relevant. There really isn't one big global bearing distributor. There are some very big continental distributors, but nobody who really properly spans the globe. So I think we're going to see some further consolidation and some very big companies buying other very big companies or merging with. But this is speculation, and I think that the industry is ripe for that kind of stuff. Other trends. Having the internet at our fingertips is beneficial for us as distributors because we can help with sourcing and we can kind of look all over the world and make contacts to help our customers. But on the other side, our customers can also look all over the world and they can find products, and sometimes they can do it better than we can, which is a bit embarrassing. And they might have less constraints, like the agreements that we might have with some of our suppliers. So they can go out and buy all over the world, where sometimes we have trouble doing that. And I think that's going to be a difficult issue because the customers will be able to find the most competitive locations to purchase their products. And sometimes it might not be us, even though we're right next door. And social media seems to be a big trend, but I personally think that social media in our industry might be overrated. I see the utility on the consumer side, but on the industrial distribution side, I think there's a lot of static, a lot of noise, and a lot of chatter, but I don't think there's any pointed marketing that's actually proven effective.
I know you mentioned the wind as an emerging market. Is that really starting to pick up in the bearing business?
We haven't seen it on the distribution side, although the manufacturers have been further involved. We see more and more projects coming out, and in Canada there were a lot of grants given and there were a lot of big projects developed. The wind energy aftermarket and where the chips are going to fall and who's going to service the customers and who's going to sell the products, and if they're going to come through our channel, which is the most important thing. We as distributors, I think, need to ensure that we stay relevant in that market and are able to service them and sell them the product.
This last question that I have for you is one that we ask all of the people that we feature, and that is, what are the 3 things that keep you up at night right now? In other words, what are the top 3 issues that managers should be keeping front of mind right now?
I would say human resource issues, keeping people interested and happy. With the retirement of the baby boomers, I think that's going to leave a tremendous gap in the entire service industry. So we're going to be fighting for our people. And then not just us as distributors, but us as an industry, keeping people interested in our business and in our industry. I think that's number 1, number 2, and number 3. That's definitely, to me, the most important thing. When all our baby boomers retire, what are we going to do? How are we going to fill that void? From an experience side and from just a warm bodies perspective, having someone to open the door in the morning and to answer the telephones. I'm kind of hoping that everything is going to shrink at the same time, so the demand won't be as high, or everybody will be struggling with this issue, so we're all going to cope together. But it's scary to think that such a large part of our workforce is going to retire in the next 10 years.
Definitely. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Janelle, for having me on your program.